ready for getting started on here. We started by
I tested them. They're not, what's it called? We'll get you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, see Facebook. People see that. Like, they don't need a like someone just split it. Show both. Oh, I didn't see that.
I need the here. Find the
going, you got it. It's going, it's going, it's going. Now what do I do? Nothing. Oh, you gotta go live. Go live. Does this sound right? Is that the right source? Why is going on here? Why is it switching? Let me do it. Figure it out. Fine. I think I had it. You had it. I think it keeps switching off and this. Same thing, right? Yeah. That's it. It's so unintuitive. Let's have him start singing. See, now it's back to this.
Not streaming. No, give it a second. Speak loud.
Good evening, everyone. I want to take the opportunity to welcome everyone to our Lag BaOmer Madura. This is such a beautiful and important evening with so many different kehilos and so many different people coming together. And we know that this is a different kind of Lag BaOmer. Lag BaOmer, a day of such incredible joy, but Lag BaOmer, even in its initial essence, is a day of joy that is always laced with a profound sense of loss. A day of joy that is preceded by the death of Rabbi Akiva's 24,000 students, but a day in which we truly celebrate the resilience of the human spirit. The spirit of Rashi Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the spirit of Rabbi Akiva, the spirit of Rabbi Akiva's 5 new Talmidim. And this year we know that this day takes on an additional level of symbolism, because it is today on Lag BaOmer, Tavshin Pei Beis, that we mark the first yard site of the 45 Kiddushim. That just a year ago this time, the terrible and catastrophic loss in Meron, a loss that shook Klal Yisrael to its very core, a loss that fundamentally changed many of us in who we are and how we live and how we see things, a change that in its wake brought so much achdus and so much beauty and so much national cohesion. But a day when we reminisce and we think back to it, it was a day of such incredible, overwhelming and searing pain. And so on this Lag BaOmer we have the avoda, the responsibility to remember that which occurred a year ago, but at the same time to continue to feel the great joy of this day. And ask Rabbi Motzin to lead us in a kapitel, in a chapter of Tehillim, and then offer us a few words of introduction to tonight's Madura.
Kuf Lamed. Shir Hamalais Mimamakim Karasicha Adonai. Adonai Shema V'Kaili Tiena Aznecha Kashuvais L'Kol Tachanunai. Im Avoinais Tishmar Yad Oinai Mi Avoin Kim Chas Licha Leman Tivarei Ki Visi Adonai Kivsa Nafshi V'Lidvarai Eichalti Nafshi Ladonai Mi Shamrim Lavaiker Shamrim Lavaiker Yachel Yisrael Adonai Kim Adonai Achesed Varbe My Fidus V'hu Yiftes Yisrael Mikol Adonai Sav. Please be seated. I'd like to begin by thanking the Suburban Orthodox community for hosting this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful event. It's just so special to be able to bring so many different communities, so many different people together. Unfortunately, we oftentimes come together at times of distress, at times of misfortune, but there's something very special and unique about coming together to celebrate, to be joyous together. And I want to give a very special thank you to Rabbi Silver, who had the vision of bringing us all together. Thank you, Rabbi Silver, for this idea and really for all that you do for our community. Thank you, Rabbi Silver. BaOmer is a very strange Yom Tiv. It's a very strange holiday. Typically on a yard site, people daven more. They perhaps mourn a little bit. Some people even fast on a yard site. It's a day of seriousness. And yet, on the yard sites of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, we're asked to celebrate. We're asked to be joyous, we're asked to dance, we're going to shave, do all these wonderful, joyous things. In some way, to commemorate the loss, the passing of one of our greatest teachers. How could that be? So I want to share with you an idea from Rav Tzadok HaKohen. A profound idea which I think is relevant to each and every one of us. You know, who was Rav Shimon Bar Yochai? Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, the individual who passed away on this day. Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, according to our tradition, was the author of the Zohar, the most important, most profound work of Kabbalah. Rav Shimon Bar Yochai was an individual who lived for years and years and years in a cave, with nothing but miracles sustaining him. Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, the Gemara tells us, could look at a person, and if you did something that he didn't exactly love, you would die, just with his look. Imagine being a student of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. Imagine sitting in a classroom in Shir with Rav Shimon Bar Yochai as he was teaching. And imagine having a question, something bothering you about what he said. Maybe you disagreed. You're going to raise your hand in a classroom like that? Not a chance. Not a chance. How could you? Not because he was a mean person, heaven forbid, but because he was so awesome. Because he was so much larger than life. When Rav Shimon Bar Yochai passed away, it was tragic. It was a terrible loss for the Jewish people. And at the same time, there was a void. There was a space that was created. And in that space, all of his Talmidim, all of his students, were able to re-examine the Torah, the teachings that he taught them, and to modify them, and to integrate them, and to make them real to them. And so, paradoxically, on the day that he left the world, it was specifically that day, the space that he created, the space that he made for his students, it was that day that his Torah really came down to the world. It's the paradox of loss, says Rav Tzadok, that we're celebrating on Lag BaOmer. The fact that something on the one hand could seem so terrible, and at the same time, it's an opportunity to create something new. Today, tonight, and tomorrow, as the Mordechai Asher just mentioned, it's bittersweet. We think about Kedoshim, we think about great people who are lost. I'm sure we've all heard stories about these wonderful people. But there's a term that people sometimes use, which is a bit of a mistake. We speak about filling their shoes, trying to live exactly as they did to make up for that loss. Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, what BaOmer teaches us is that there's a different approach. We're not trying to make up for the loss, but we're inspired by the loss. And at the same time, we take advantage of this void, of this empty space, which can be so scary, and we create something new. We develop, we take those ideas of their life, and we create something more powerful, more beautiful. And the same is true in our own lives. You know, we experience sometimes immense, intense inspiration, moments of connection to Hashem, where we feel like we're on fire. And then instantaneously, mysteriously, it's gone. And we feel this void, and we grope in the darkness trying to connect, bring ourselves back to those moments. But what we're supposed to be doing is not trying to reclaim the past, but to be inspired by the past and to create something new, something else entirely. That is what BaOmer teaches us. That is the story of the Zohar, the creation of the Zohar, a book which literally means the brilliance light which was created in a dark cave as Rav Shimon Bar Yochai was surrounded by despair, running for his own life. That's what we're celebrating today. May we merit to be able, like Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, to be able to find light in darkness, both collectively and individually, to be able to take those dark times and to mourn the loss, to recognize the loss, but in that void, in that space, may we merit to create something new and something beautiful.
BaOmer to everybody. I want to extend a very special thank you to my dear friend Rabbi Silver, Suburban Orthodox, and to all the Chashuv Rabbanim who have come to join with their Kehilos, Hakadoshos, including our own, and it's truly a beautiful event to be here tonight on this very holy day of Hilula Dur B'Shimur Bar Yochai. There is a concept which is brought down in Forum HaKadoshim that a future event, which in terms of the linear measure of time, which has not yet occurred, that it can shine backward in time to where we are. Because there's a concept of Lamala Min Hazaman, there's things that are above time. The Organayahu, the Zekasai Libracha, and the Yisachar, they write that when you finish the first 32 days, the Siras HaOmer, which is a number of lathes, we've completed that, and now the next 17 days, which is Tov, leads to Shavuos. And at this point, the Or of Kabbalas HaTorah is shining back on this night. So we have not yet reached there in terms of linear time, but in terms of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's time, HaYehovah V'Yihiyah, that event is already there, and it's shining back on us. And the light of Shavuos shines back to this night. So I'd like to take a moment and talk about Kabbalas HaTorah, because its light is already here in a certain way. We say that on Shavuos we have Kabbalas HaTorah. But we have to have a question about this, because didn't we already receive the Torah? We received the Torah at Har Sinai. Why do we have to receive it again each and every year? So one concept is there's a Hishchadshus, there's a renewal of Torah every year, but I think there's more to it in that idea. Every year we are Mekabel the Torah according to the person who we are that year. That by the next year, by the next Shavuos, we have become a different person. And our Kabbalas HaTorah therefore occurs on a deeper level than it did the previous year. Every year we're being Mekabel Torah into a deeper part of our own personality. So the emes, it really is Kabbalas HaTorah. It really is a brand new receiving of the Torah, integrating of the Torah into who we are, because that level of who we are has not yet received the Torah, but now it does. This night, which I cannot say explicitly yet because I didn't count Sira yet, which I will in a minute. This night is called the Hod Shebahod. Every week of Sira is a different midah. We work on our midos during Siras HaOmer. Chesed, Gevura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yisod, Malchus. Chesed is kindness, giving. Gevura is restraint, boundaries, Tiferet, beauteous harmony. Netzach, perseverance. Hod, this week is Hod. And each night is a specific midah of that week. Tonight is Hod Shebahod. What does that mean, that is Hod Shebahod? I would like to suggest that similar to Kabbalas HaTorah occurring at a deeper level each year, the midah of Hod, which means gratitude and appreciation, and it also means to recognize and to acknowledge that every day a Yid, a Jew, must have a deeper level of appreciation of who he is, who she is, who we are as a people. And tonight, on this night, Hod Shebahod, we have an opportunity to go very deeply into our gratitude to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Every day we say, Modeh Ani, Modeh, thank you, Hod. And we're grateful to Hashem for sending us back our neshama. But we all know, if a person has an experience where they're in sakana, they're in danger, and their life is saved, that the next morning when we say Moda Ani, it's a lot different. That's Hod Shebahod. It's not just saying thank you, it's really saying thank you that I am alive. Hod Shebahod. Person growing up recognizes their parents, loves their parents, respects their parents. Hod. We appreciate, we acknowledge them. And then you become a parent. Now you really appreciate your parents. Oh, that's what they did for me. Hod Shebahod. Another level of appreciation. That's tonight, this night. My Rebbe, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, was Rabbi Shlomo Tursky, Hornist Steipler Rebbe in Denver, Rav Posek Rebbe Godel B'Torah. He brings down the following chazal. The Chachamim asked the question, from where was Moshe Rabbeinu Zocha to his Karnei Hod, his shining face? We all know Moshe Rabbeinu had a shining face. The Chachamim want to know, where did it come from? And there's two opinions the Chachamim say. One is from the Ma'ora. He was in a cave. Hashem told him to go into a cave while Hashem passes by. Hashem al panav vayikra. And in that cave, Moshe Rabbeinu got his Hod. The second opinion goes like this. The luchos were 6 tefachim by 6 tefachim, 6 handbreadths by 6 handbreadths. Moshe Rabbeinu had 2 tefachim in his hand. Hashem Kibiyachol had 2 tefachim in his hand. The middle 2 tefachim are in nobody's hands. From the middle 2 tefachim, that's where Moshe Rabbeinu got his Hod. That's what the Chachamim say. What does that mean? Such a mysterious statement. It's in the middle 2 tefachim. Rabbi Twersky, Zecher Tzadik Livracha, said as follows. The 2 tefachim that are in Hashem's hands, that represents the Torah that we cannot be masik, that we can't understand, ever. The 2 tefachim that are in Moshe Rabbeinu's hands, that is the Torah that we can understand. We can be masik. It's in our hands. The 2 tefachim in the middle, which nobody is holding, that represents the Torah that has not yet been revealed, but it will be revealed in each and every generation. And that's where Moshe Rabbeinu got his Karnei Hod, from the Torah that's revealed in his door. Now, if we take a look at that, that means that we can also glow with Hod, because there's 2 tefachim in our generation which are being revealed during our lives. It has not yet been revealed, but now it is being revealed in our lives. And that's where the Hod comes from. That's where the glow comes from. What does that mean? Because that Torah is relevant, it's meaningful, it's personal to who we are, it's purposeful. It's not theoretical Torah, it's real in our lives. That's where a person's glow, that's where our shining faces come from. Tonight, on this night of the Shemar Bar Yochai, where we experience the Torah that he brought into the world, the crackling Torah of Moshe Rabbeinu, the Shemar Bar Yochai, it's mamish alive and cracking in front of our own eyes. Hod Shebahod. And this is what I want to say about this to all of us. We all have to go deeper. It's not sufficient, our depth of Torah that we had yesterday. It's not enough. We have to go deeper into Torah. Every person, man, woman, teenagers, children, every person has the ability to go one step deeper. We can't stay in the same place. Just as we grow, our Hasagas HaTorah must grow. Who is the person responsible for that in all of Jewish history? The Shimmer Bar Yochai. We have no shaykhus to his Torah. It's Sodos HaTorah. It's completely beyond us. But we do have a connection to the deeper Torah within us and the deeper Torah that's being revealed in this generation, and that's where our glow will come from. Did you ever have a conversation with a teenager or a child, and they talk about a question in Torah, and they come to an answer, and you see the shine on their face? Did you ever have a conversation with an adult, and they're grappling for something, and they get it, and you see the shine on their face? That's Karnei Hod. That's the two Tfachim in the middle, and tonight, on Hod Shabbat, we can all get there. In the presence of my very chashuv chaverim and friends on both sides, so happy to be with you on this night. I told Rabbi Silver I'm a little hesitant to leave our shul for log because we've been there for over 30 years doing this, and I'm a little hesitant. And then he said, Rabbi Goldberg, we're going to all be together. Okay, he got me. He got me. He knew what to say. And then he said, we're going to commemorate 45 holy Jews who lost their lives on this night 1 year ago. May their neshamas have an aliyah, may chayil l'chayil, families have an achama, and may our togetherness and achdus on this night be an aliyah l'nishmosehem, and lahavdil ben chayim l'chayim, an aliyah for our neshamos, that we should shine with the glow of this holy night. Can you hear us, son? If you allow me for a minute before we sing Bar Yochai, I have to count Sira. So please, if you haven't counted yet, good time to count. Shema Shabbos. Ikanta Mincha Chadash Alamim. Maaseh Yodeinu Kainel Maaseh Yodeinu Kainel. Yeshus Haran. More Dasra. Baruch Atu Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Asher Kiddushanu b'mitzvosav V'tzivanu al Sefiras Omer Hayom Shloshim Yom Shehem Arba Shavuos L'chamisha Yamim La'omer. Subhan Ma'ashapagandi B'Svira Hod Shabbat V'Tarvis Kaddish B'Kedusha Shomal V'Yishma Shofar V'Chavon V'Chaki Shasva Halyana Amen Selah. Thank you. Okay, how are we starting? What's our note? My two sons are here. Please come forward and sing. Shall Shem
Technician never gets to rest.
Hey,